All right, everybody, it is 7:01 Central Time, so we are going to get started. I hope you can all see my screen. If you would, just let me know. It should say the Doubling Project on it and have a picture of me and my family. If somebody would just throw in the chat there that you can see my screen, I just want to make sure that you guys see what I think you see. Meanwhile, while we're doing that, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to go over a little bit of housekeeping here. If you would, if you've got Skype open or you're playing games on your cell phone or maybe you're looking at Facebook or something like that, just do me a favor and just cut that out for the next little bit so that I can really download to you what I'm trying to download right now, so that you can get everything that I want to share with you guys tonight. So my family and I have discovered something, and we call it the Doubling Project. I'm going to give you a little bit of a background of where that came from, why we call it that, and what it means to us and what it could mean to you as well. Some of you have been following our story, perhaps on Facebook or through the blogs, and just seeing what we've been doing. It really was a thing we set out to do as a family just for some fun, but it's accidentally turned into something that is way more than just fun. And so that's what we're here to share with you guys tonight. I'm super excited. Unfortunately, Lauren's not here with us tonight. She's speaking at a convention. So you got me, but that's okay. I'm going to be able to hopefully give you everything you need to hear. And so I kind of want to share with you guys kind of the premise of what we're talking about here, which is how to make an extra $500 or more per month without taking a second job, joining a network marketing company, selling plasma, or taking precious time away from any of those loved ones that you have. And I know that sounds pretty awesome to everybody. That's why you're on this. So I'm going to share with you how to do that. Now, my goal before we get off this call is for you to walk away with a couple of tools, for you to walk away knowing what to do, maybe how to do it, and where to do it. Just as simple tools of how to get started as quickly as you can becoming a doubler. And by the way, we call ourselves doublers, not pickers. There's a reason for that, even though we are picking in a sense. Our primary goal is doubling. So my goal is for you to walk away feeling like and having some tools that you can use to actually begin becoming a doubler. Now, if you stay to the very end of this, the last thing I'm going to share with you guys is 5 doubling picks that you can go out right now and do pretty much anywhere in your town. Even if you live near me, I will not have got these already, that you'll be able to go out and immediately buy at a low price and sell at a high price. These are 5 items that we find almost everywhere we go. And I'm going to give that to you at the very end. So hang out to the end so that you make sure you walk away from this time with that, because that's going to be one of the most important things you can walk away with. Now, you might be asking yourself, what makes this any different from anything else? And there's a couple of things. The primary thing for me is this is about time. This is about my family. This is about fun. This is about joy. So what we are going to share with you guys, and what makes this different from other things you could do to make extra money, is we're not going to ask you to go recruit people. We're not going to ask you to sell things to people that don't want it. We're not going to ask you to take time away from your family. We're not going to ask you to do any of that. We're simply going to share with you what we do and how you can do it too. And that's what's going to make this really different. And by the way, this is kind of what got us started. Did you know that if you double $1 20 times, you are now a millionaire? Let that set in. If you can take $1 and double it 20 times, you will become a millionaire. This is what it looks like. So 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16, and so on, all the way down to $1.048 million. That simple truth got us started. I was on an airplane flying home. I read this in something, came home, told my kids about it 2 years ago, and they said, well, Daddy, can't we just do that? And I said, I guess so. It's just math. And so we set out on a mission to double $1 20 times. Now, full disclosure, we haven't done it yet. We have not doubled it 20 times yet. But we're more than halfway done. In fact, we're on the last stretch of this. And we've had so much fun, and it's taught us so many other things in the process that is why we have kind of shifted to doing this greatly for a living. And so we're excited to tell you guys about that. Now, my name's Jamie Brandenburg. I'm a serial entrepreneur, or I have entrepreneurial ADD. I'm not sure which one. But I've been involved in a number of businesses in my life. I've bought and sold. I've started companies. I've sold companies. I've had companies go under. I've had companies thrive. I've gone through it all. I've seen the high peaks of success, and I've seen the low valleys of failure. I know what everything feels like. I'm 41 years old, and I've been around the block a few times. But in regards to this, I have literally bought and sold thousands of items. I know how to do this. I've taught many others how to buy and sell, and some have even went full time. I've spent every single moment over the last several years with my family that I want to spend. I never ask anybody's permission. I don't have to get a day off. I don't have to ask somebody if I can be with my family. I choose what I do with my time. And last year, I took my family for Christmas, all expenses paid to Disney, including my airfare, it was over $7,000 and spending money for everybody on less than $1. I started with $1, and it took me about 2 months to raise the money to go to Disney. I'm going to show you guys how I did that. Now, my wife, you guys just saw my picture. I'm clearly out punting my coverage here. My wife is Lauren Brandenburg. She's amazing. She is just a beautiful, wonderful woman. She absolutely has just made my life wonderful. She's a stay-at-home mom and has been for over 13 years, as well as homeschooling our children. She's written and published 4 novels. She's got 2 more that are about to be published. She's written multiple writing curriculums, and she's a guest speaker frequently. In fact, that's where she's at right now. She's a guest speaker for a kids camp that is all about the arts, and so she had to go do that tonight. And she's quite literally the world's best wife and best mother. And if my children were standing beside me, they would be jumping up and down and cheering and saying yes to that. Now, we've also got 2 other team members. We got Kenzie, or Kensington Brandenburg, who is 13 years old, and she buys whatever she wants. Now, the difference between Kenzie and Jack is she doesn't want a whole lot. So she doesn't necessarily buy a whole lot. But she hasn't gotten or needed an allowance for almost 2 years. In fact, we make a joke that we murdered allowances. We don't have any need for allowances anymore in our home. And so that's Kenzie. Jackson, on the other hand, is 10 years old, and he buys what he wants, but the difference is he wants everything. And so Jackson's more active because he needs more money, and he likes to buy stuff. He just yesterday bought a new game for his Nintendo Switch, which he paid cash for the day it came out, by the way. And if you know anything about those, they were impossible to get. He is an avid doubler, and he has his own preferred set of items that he buys. And so this is what makes the Doubling Project so cool is, yes, as adults and as parents, you can make enough money really to if you want to, you can make enough money to support your family, but certainly enough to make a nice side income to cover the gaps that your regular work doesn't do. But you can also teach your children how to make money, and they can actually be able to go out, purchase what they want, save money, give money, do whatever they want to do or whatever you want to teach them to do in regards to money. So it's a pretty exciting thing. Now, we've done a lot of things right. Here's some of our examples. We've this backpack on the left, Jack actually bought this for $2.50 and sold it less than a week later for $30. Knee brace on the bottom we bought for $30 and sold it for almost $80, or we made almost $80, I should say. Standing desk we bought for $5, sold it 3 days later for $75. We've done a lot of things right, but we've also done a lot of things wrong. And not just in the Doubling Project, but as parents trying to figure out how to make up the gaps of income that's needed, we've done a lot of things wrong. And as you can see, we've dealt with a lot of garbage. And after doing this for over 18 months, there are a couple things I've discovered. Number one, I have figured out how to find $100 bills literally laying around pretty much anywhere I go. I've also discovered out how to provide extra money for my family while having lots and lots of fun. I've discovered how to make as much as $7,500 in 2 months with only a $1 investment or resource. And I've discovered how to include my children while teaching them to make extra money too. So my children are with us every step of the way. Here's a couple more examples. We were at a yard sale a couple weeks ago, bought this invisible fence for $2 and I sold it and made over $118 on it. Here's a Coleman tent that I bought brand new for $20, sold it 2 days later for $200. So this is not that hard. These things are everywhere. You just have to learn how to do it. Now, we discovered most of this the hard way. And you guys are going to understand what I'm talking about when I start talking about what I mean by the hard way. You guys get to cheat and do it hopefully the easy way. if you take advantage of what we're teaching you. But we had to discover it the hard way. And what I mean by that is in life, before we discovered this way to make extra money, we did other things, just like this ant rolling a pile of poopy up a hill. We did things like letting somebody else take our evenings and weekends just to make ends meet. I mean, how many of you guys have given away your weekends and your evenings to make a couple $100s with the false pretense that that's actually going to make a difference somehow, and that somehow that's less valuable than spending time with your family? We've spent hours upon hours learning about different compensation plans and trying to convince our family and friends that they need something that they don't want. Now, I'm not somebody that's going to bash business opportunities. I used to own a network marketing company, but I know that it is a time stealer. And I know what it can do, and I know the promises of sacrifice, and I know that the downside of giving up those things. So we've learned that. We've learned that losing precious time with our spouse and children is a bad thing. I can't get that back. I cannot get the time back with my kids, and we've learned to not do that anymore. And we also learned about living with nonstop stress and just dealing with thinking at night and laying in bed at night and worrying at night about how we're going to make money or how we're going to pay a certain bill. And we've learned how to do this. Now, the Doubling Project has helped us get past that, but we've learned these things. We've also learned that it's sometimes hard to do things unless you know how to do it. So I got to ask the question, do you want the easy way that gives you extra money, extra time with your friends and family, and is fun? And if so, by the way, that's not easy. It's easier, because nothing's easy in this world. But if you want the easier way, this is what we're going to teach you. So in the past 2 weeks, we've made over $3,000 profit doubling. So in the past 2 weeks, we've made over $3,000 profit. And one of those 2 weeks, I spent the week in Guatemala doing mission work with my daughter. So the truth is, in the past week, we've done that, because one of those 2 weeks I was out of town, I was out of the country, and I did nothing except for mission work and spent time with Kinsey. So it can be done. It's amazing, and it can be done. Now, results like that are not typical. I have to say this. You're not going to become super wealthy when you start doing this. You could eventually, but you're not right now. You may fail. It's not typical. This is not something that is a get-rich-quick scheme. I can show you how we do it in our system and show you how other families we've taught to do it are doing it, but I cannot make you do it. And so unless somebody applies themselves, takes some risks, works hard and consistently, and has some serious fun, you're not going to succeed at this. This is not a get rich quick. It's not for entitled people that think that they're owed something. This is not a work from home business opportunity. And it's certainly not for anybody that's lazy. This is hard work, and it's a lot of fun, but it's consistent hard work. And there's some smartness that has to take place in it. So I do have 3 secrets, though, that I want to share with you. Secret number 1, we and I can make more with a $1 to $5 investment than most people can make in an entire shift at a second job. You heard me right. I can make more with $5 doing doubling than you can make your entire weekend working a second job 3 days in a weekend. And that's an absolute undisputed fact, okay? Secret number 2, doubling is actually increases our family time. It gives us more time together, and it's fun. It's like a treasure hunt. And secret number 3, we can be doubling anytime, anywhere, with anything and with anybody. Does not matter where we are. I could have done it in Guatemala had I have chosen to, but I just didn't want to. So we can double anytime, anywhere, with anybody, and on anything. It's just amazing. So let's just get into that. Secret number 1, we can make more with a $1 to $5 investment than most can in an entire shift or even an entire weekend at a second job. So instead of trading 8 to 16 hours on the weekend for an extra $80 to $320, depending on how much you're getting paid, 10 to 20 bucks pre-tax, all while wearing yourself out, exhausting yourself, making somebody else wealthy, and losing all that precious time with your family, you could make $100 or more with as little as a penny. And I can tell you, I know this is a fact because I've done it multiple times. I've bought multiple items for 1 cent that I sold for over $100. And I know it can be done. It's absolutely amazing. You can spend one Saturday morning with $100 or less in your pocket and going out and hitting yard sales or hitting auctions with your children and your wife and having a blast, and make your mortgage payment in less than a week or two. It can happen. It can happen over and over. And I know that because it's happened for us over and over again. Now, in action, we have literally hundreds of examples of making 5X to 20X of our investment, sometimes in minutes, hours, and even days. And here's a few of them. This Insanity DVDs. These are from Beachbody, which is a health and wellness MLM. They sell these DVDs for working out. Now, if you know me, you know I don't use them. But my son has grown an infinity to these things. He sees them everywhere. He's bought so many of them, either the Insanity DVDs or the P90X. And just a couple weeks ago, he bought 2 of them for $10, 2 sets for $10, so $5 a piece. He sold both of them within days for $40 each. So he turned his $10 into $80 just like that. You may have heard him talk about that on our video. Here's something else. This is a Bridget ramp center section. This is a center section for a driveway. If you've got a little dip in the driveway, it evens it out. I knew I had a buyer for this. I bought it for $12.20, and I made $91.24 on it. That was my profit after I sold it to him one day later. Here's a calculator. I sold it in 30 minutes. I bought it for $5. I sold it and made $55.03. Here's some Matthew C. blocks. These are homeschool tools. We're familiar with that. We know what they are. We bought them for $4. 2 days later, made $56.31. Now, guys, that's not what I sold them for. That's what I profited, okay? So I actually made more than that, but I had to ship it, pay eBay, some other different things, and pay my $4 back, but I profited $56.31. Here's something else, some Ralph Lauren perfume. This was called Turquoise. Audited a yard sale. It was pretty much full. Brought it home. My wife didn't want it. So I paid $3 for it, and I sold it for $34 4 days later. Pretty awesome. And so in total here, I spent $29.20, profited $276.58. So if you add the 29 back onto that all this together is over 10 times our money. Guys, you can do this over and over and over and over again, no matter what day of the week it is, no matter where you live, and we can show you how to do it. Secret number 2, doubling is actually increases our family time and is absolutely fun. It's a blast. Now, here's 3 reasons why most people like me should make should make increasing time with loved ones a top priority. Somebody appears to be drawing on our screen. I don't know how they're doing that. That's interesting. But here's 3 reasons why people like me should make increasing time with loved ones a top priority. Reason number 1, time is limited. We're not going to get any of it back. You may make money back. You may gain some money back. You absolutely will not get your time back. And so, guys, that is the one commodity you can't purchase, you can't get more of, you can't double, you can't find, you have to keep it. It's the only thing in your life that you must keep, claw back, reach out for, and grab. And it's important to get that back. Reason number 2, our loved ones need it the most. They need it more than our money and our resources. Your children, if you have children, or your spouse, or your best friend, they need you more than they need the money you might make if you go get a second job or work overtime. They need your love, and they need your closeness, and they need your time more than the money. Now, I understand we got to pay bills, but what I'm encouraging you to do is to think about a way to pay those bills where it doesn't take away from that time with your loved ones. And number 3, you cannot get the time and opportunities back when they're gone. Your children will never be little again. If you are a grandparent, and you worked all the time when your kids were little, you probably regret that, number 1, but you've got an opportunity right now. Go take your time back with your grandkids. You've got an opportunity. You got a do-over. And guys, I'm encouraging you to think about this. You can't get them back when they're done. I remember hearing people that are heavy in business and some that are in business opportunities bragging about the sacrifices they made, where they missed a birthday party or they missed a baseball game because they were making sacrifices for their family. And I'm like, you're not making a sacrifice. Your kid is. That's horrible. Don't brag about that. That's horrible. Figure out a way that if you actually do have to go out and make money, that you make the money with your family. You spend time together. The Doubling Project and becoming a doubler can teach you how to do that. So just some secrets in action. Secret number 2 in action. Extra money earned from the Doubling Project keeps you from having to spend extra time at work. joining the time-stealing business opportunity, getting a second job, even driving an Uber or a Lyft. I know a lot of people do that. It's good money, but it takes time away from your family and it wears you out. When you're going out to find items to double, or even when doubling an item with a buyer, you can easily do it together and it's fun. My son is with me literally. He's homeschooled. He's with me literally 50% of the time during the week. He goes to almost every coffee with me, almost every lunch with me. He goes to the auction house with me. He goes all over the place with me. He helps me go sell things. He's always with me. And it's because of the way we choose to do this. We get to spend time together. And when we go buy, we're on a treasure hunt. It's amazing. It's so much fun. Secret number 3, we can be doubling anytime, anywhere, with anything and with anybody. Now, everywhere you go, every town, every country, everywhere has their own unique opportunities to double. Every place has a culture, and you get to experience it when you go out and look around. When you spend a few minutes or hours doubling, it's an adventure. It's a treasure hunt, and it adds to your experience wherever you go. It's amazing to me. My son and I went fishing with my dad in Florida a few months ago, and we spent some time during the day after we were done fishing and not catching anything, hitting some thrift shops in this little town, and it's a retirement town. And so, as you can probably imagine, the stuff in those thrift shops was quite a bit different than the stuff you find in Nashville, Tennessee. In Nashville, you find a bunch of hipster stuff and a bunch of music stuff. You go to the retirement town and you're going to find a bunch of old antique stuff. It's really cool. And so we got to learn about new stuff, and we got to buy stuff we never bought before. And we still made money, made a lot of money, paid for our trip and then some. And so it's actually, and that leads me to the next point. Spending a few hours doubling can actually pay for whatever trip you may be on. I remember a few years ago, I had bought this industrial cooler, and I paid $22 for it, and I sold it to a guy on Craigslist for $800. The catch was I had to take it to him, and he lives 2 hours from where I live. But he also lives halfway between me and my mother-in-law. And so we packed the car up, threw the cooler in the back of the car, drove to meet him, met him right off the exit. I handed him the cooler. He handed me 8 $100 bills, and I went on and had a killer weekend with my mother-in-law and my family in Kentucky. It was great. And that's part of what it can do. And it certainly more than paid for that trip. And so just remember that. It's just amazing. Now, a lot of people ask us, where do we find items to double? And there's a great answer to that. We find them at yard sales and garage sales. That's one of our number one places, the most fun. It's the best treasure hunts there is, yard sales and garage sales. We go to estate sales, and lots of great stuff at estate sales. We go to local auctions. We go to online auctions. We go to warehouse auctions. We go to thrift stores. We go to secondhand stores. We go to closeout stores. We go to pawn shops. One of my favorite places to go are pawn shops because they're fun to mess with. And I'll explain more to you guys later if we talk again about this. We go to Craigslist, and Craigslist is an amazing place to buy stuff. We go to barter groups, and we do mobile apps. There's mobile apps where you buy and sell. Guys, and there's tons of other places. In fact, when I go to Walmart, I walk through, there's always this little aisle, and it's near the toy aisle, and it's this weird clearance section aisle where they got this weird stuff, and it's marked down to like 90 cents and 60 cents. I always walk through that aisle. And there might be a time when I'll see 10 different things, or 10 things that are all the same, but they're all 60 cents a piece. And I know they're worth $15 on eBay because somebody in California may not have that sale, or somebody in Japan may really want that. And so I'll buy all 10 of them for 60 cents, and I'll go do a group listing on eBay and let them sit. And as they sell, I make $15 each time. Boom, 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 just like that. And I just went to Walmart, just like I normally would, to buy toilet paper and groceries, So everywhere you go, you can find something. It's super easy once you know how to look for it and what you're looking for. Now, where do we go to double or sell our stuff? Again, eBay, Craigslist. We sell on Craigslist like crazy. Facebook, guys, Facebook Marketplace is about the best place in the world to sell. Amazon. When you get a little bit more sophisticated, you can learn how to use Amazon. And there's some incredible tricks that you can use Amazon for to save you money in other places, not even on Amazon. It's pretty awesome. OfferUp, which is a mobile app. LetGo, which is a mobile app. Garage Sale, pawn shops. Guys, a few weeks ago, my son and I went yard selling on a Friday morning. He needed a little bit of extra money. He bought a stereo component for $20. We ran over to a pawn shop close by. He sold it for $75. It was literally 5 minutes. He literally took $20 and turned it into $75, and then he went and got the video game he wanted in literally 5 minutes. And we've done it so many times, it's not even funny. Friend groups, guys, your friends buy stuff. Personal networks, of course. Repeat buyers. I have a lady that's got the coolest vehicle on the planet that buys from me. I'm not going to explain it because I'm not sure, she may be on this call. But she buys from me, and she'll reach out to me about once every 2 weeks and say, hey, what new do you have? She likes odd things, and I buy odd things. Sometimes when I find an odd thing, I let her know. And you have repeat buyers. You build a network of buyers. It's pretty cool. Barter groups. Guys, barter groups are a blast. I remember about a month and a half ago, I had a telescope that I had paid $70 for, and a guy wanted it, and he had a $400 DJI drone that he would trade for it. So I traded for this drone, and I bought a case for it. I spent $50 on the case. So I had $125 in it altogether. Played with it for about 2 weeks, realized, I don't really need a drone, and sold it for $450 up on command to a guy. And just like that, I turned my $125 into $450, plus I got to play with it for a couple weeks, and it was really cool. So that was a barter group. You can do that all the time. There's lots of other places you can sell things at. How do we determine what to spend? Now, this is a question I get asked a lot, and this is different for everybody. Everybody has a different way they value things to figure out how much they think something's worth or how much they should spend on something. So I'm going to tell you right now, determining the value of an item has lots of different factors. To us, and we have ways that we figure out how things are worth, which, a lot of times we check completed listings on eBay, or we look at how things have trended and sold on Amazon. And by the way, what something's selling for right now on Amazon doesn't really mean that much. It's what it trends to, because Amazon sellers will sell one thing for $20 less than they might sell it in 5 minutes. And so you have to watch the trends on it. But what we do is we figure out what we think it's worth, and then we make sure that no matter what, after we've paid eBay fees, if we're going to sell it on eBay, or PayPal fees, or whether we've paid shipping or whatever, we have to double our money. So if we have $15 in an item, after we pay everything, we better net $30. That's our goal. We have to net $30. And by the way, if something costs $1 and I think I can probably get $2 out of it, I probably won't mess with that. But I did start there. I did start there because I had to learn how to do it. So don't shy away from those small deals. I'm just at a different place now. I like to buy things for $100 that I can sell for $500. And so, but don't shy away from those $1 deals that you can sell for $8. They're everywhere, and you learn a lot by doing them. So just determine. You may say, I want to make 15%. I would argue that's not enough, but that may be what you're comfortable with, and so you have to determine that. As a general rule for us, it's minimum double. So when I go to look at something, I make sure that I think I'm going to triple it in case I mess up. So that may be our rules. Yours can be different, but that's how we determine what we spend. Now, the key to this is disposable income. I mean, everybody wants disposable income. Disposable income means that after I've paid my bills, I have extra money to go do stuff with. I may be able to put it in a savings account. I may be able to buy a vacation. I may be able to go out to dinner. I may be able to take my kids to see a movie at the theater and get them popcorn, which is going to cost me $100, which is ridiculous. I may be able to take my spouse or my girlfriend or boyfriend to a steakhouse and have dinner. I mean, disposable income is that extra money that if you spend it, you don't have to worry about not being able to pay your bills. That's that fun money. And that's what this is all about. Guys, I can't even tell you how many times in the last year we've wanted to go, let's just say we wanted to go see the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And we knew, because we like to go to the fancy theater where they put your feet up in the layback chairs and all that stuff. And we like to get popcorn, and we all want a soda or some candy. We know we're going to spend $100. So I'll buy something for $10 and I'll go sell it for $100. And in my mind, I've spent $10 to go to the movies. And I don't care about the other 90. I really don't. We do it all the time on command. My kids do it all the time. In fact, the reason we went to Disney for Christmas wasn't because we wanted to go to Disney for Christmas. It's because when our kids turned in their Christmas list, there was nothing on it. they buy whatever they want. And so they didn't have anything they wanted for Christmas. And we thought it would be a cool thing to go to Disney. We normally buy a bunch of presents for Christmas. We didn't have to this year. It was awesome. That's what disposable income is. And that's what I want you guys to have. So the past 30 minutes or so, I just want to know, would you agree that it's been time well spent so far? So if in your chat box, you can chat yes or no, whatever here, but hopefully you've learned a few things. We're going to go more, but has it been time well spent so far? Awesome. Awesome. Yep. Yes. Awesome. Now, obviously, in 1 hour or in a half an hour or even a day, I can't cover everything. So we're not going to be able to get through absolutely everything. But we do have something we want to show you. And because we've gone through this for so long and we've learned so much, we've had a lot of people come to us and say, hey, can you put together a course? In fact, I've been approached. Now, this is kind of funny, but I've been approached by several publishers to ask me to write a book, which is not my thing. It's my wife's thing, not my thing. I can't even spell. I've been approached by 2 syndicators that do TV shows that have said, hey, do you want to put a pilot together? And that's not my thing either. I really kind of want to keep this with just my family. But so what we thought we would do instead is we would put a course together. We would put a way together for people to be able to learn and to be able to be coached by me on how to do this. So excited to show you guys that. I'm going to show you guys a special deal. And of course, I'm still going to give you those top 5 items that you can go find today, which you're going to want to stick around for. You want to get a sheet of paper out and write them down because you're going to be able, it's Tuesday. So Thursday starts the yard sale season in everybody's town, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I guarantee you, if you take this list of 5 items, you can go out and make anywhere from $100 to $500 on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, just having some fun. So stick around for that. But are you guys cool with me showing you the course that we've put together and what we can offer to you guys? If so, just pop it in the chat there. We'd love to show it to you. And I hope that you guys like Ron Swanson, because I don't know, is he animated on there for everybody? Hopefully he is. I absolutely love Ron Swanson. So here we go. Oh, great. Everybody's saying let's do it. So here we go. I'm going to close this chat out. So if you say anything else, Ron Burgundy. Oh, that's right. He's not Ron Swanson. Thank you. Ron Swanson is my favorite character from Parks and Rec. This is Ron Burgundy, San Diego. That's awesome. All right, here we go. So this is the Doublers Club pilot program. That's what we're calling it. Now, we're doing a pilot because we haven't done this before. And my intention is to roll this into a larger program and share it with the world. But I want to create a pilot program where I can personally coach people to get me started. I won't be able to personally coach people when we roll out a bigger program. But in this initial one, I can, because it's going to stay a little bit smaller. So here's what you're going to get. And I've been a consultant for many years. Some of you that know me know that I've consulted with tons of companies and individuals and lots of executives and business owners, and I've owned a bunch of companies. I've done all this different stuff. And so I know what things are valued at. And I just want to share with you kind of what I think some of this stuff's worth. I'm going to teach whoever's part of this, I'm going to teach you how to become a home entrepreneur. That to me is worth its weight in gold. To be able to wake up when you're done sleeping and to be able to do the things you want to do. Now, I'll tell you, I'm done sleeping now. I'm 41, so I get done sleeping about 6:30. So I don't sleep until midnight noon or whatever. I get up early, but that's just who I am. If you learn how to do this, you can set your own hours, and that's super cool. So that I'd say that's worth at least $197. Doubling and picking tips and tricks. These are things that we've learned, some little tricks that we've learned on how to get things cheaper, how to get things that aren't even for sale. Some awesome things, at least $197 value. The best times, places, and methods for buying. There are some strategies about when you go places and how you buy things. And so we're going to share that with you of the best tips, times, and methods for buying. We're also going to share where to sell items and tricks on how to maximize what you get. That's pretty awesome. We're going to show you some shipping tips and tricks. Guys, there's nowhere in the world you'll lose more money than with shipping. And so we're going to show you how to ship right. And we're going to show you sometimes how to not ship at all, which is even cooler. We're going to give you 30 days of text and email support for buying and selling, which means if you're out and you see something and you're like, man, I don't know if I should buy this, you'll be able to reach out to me. And I'll be able to say, buy it, green light, don't buy it, red light. I stole that term from Daryl Petrie, who runs a company called We Help Others. You guys ought to check him out. I love doing this. He's the king. And so he does red light, green light. And he's also my cousin. 12 months of future access to the Doublers Club community. This is something we're in the process of building right now. We're calling it the Doublers Club. And it's going to be a community. It's $47 a month, which we're going to give you guys the full year access to it. But this is going to be a community of people that are talking about what's selling right now, what's not selling. Maybe I have a Apple Watch and I can't sell it, but maybe Courtney up in Ohio, she knows somebody looking for an Apple Watch, so she may be able to connect me with a buyer, and we're just going to be able to help each other. And she may find something that's selling like crazy that I haven't thought about, and since I'm not in her backyard, she can tell me about it. That's what the Doublers Club community is going to be all about. We're going to give you guys access to that. So the total value here, $2,046. Of course, that's not what we're going to offer to you guys, but I wanted to show you what we think what the value is. And I had two choices. I could go cheap as possible and try to sell as many as possible, which would be like a book or an ebook. And again, that's just not my thing. But it wouldn't incentivize me to really stack the value on this either. My second option was require a little bit more investment, but in exchange, I can devote more resources and hopefully guarantee your success. So I went with the second option. And by the way, this has worked. I've been doing this individually just to kind of test it to see if it would work. And I've done it with a business owner who was absolutely sick of the rat race, sick of worrying about paying employees, and sick of nonstop stress. Now, you guys may think if you own your own business that you live on easy street. And let me just tell you, I've owned multiple businesses, and it's super hard. And you're the last one that gets paid, and you worry all the time. This person was worried. And so we taught him how to do this, and that's all he does. Another guy was an unemployed professional who simply could not find work. And we're talking a six-figure professional, had made as much as $500,000 in a year, and literally could not find work and was drowning in financial and personal stress, marriage stress, all that, and figured out how to do this, taught him, gave him everything I knew, and this is what he does full-time now, and he's doing just great. Stay-at-home mother who just wanted to take some pressure off of her husband and have something to do to contribute financially. And she hasn't scaled it to where she could, but she's kept it in a manageable level for her where it's just 4 or 5 hours a week, and she's making a huge income off of it, not as much as her husband, but more than enough to contribute to the family. And it makes her feel good, gives her something exciting to do. She's able to do it around time with her kids. And it's taken a lot of pressure off her husband. Their marriage is a lot better because of it. So I'm telling you, I know it works. And again, just want to share with you the things you're going to get. How to become a home entrepreneur, doubling and picking tricks and tips, best places, times, and methods for buying, where to sell items, tricks to maximize, shipping tips and tricks, 30 days of text and email support, and 12 months future access to that Doublers Club community for the value of $2,046. I'm also going to give you my personal tracking spreadsheet. I've only given this to 3 other people. So only one of those people I just shared with you has this, and my dad and my brother have this. That's it. So I'm going to give you this because this is a key. I've developed this over the last 18 months. It is an Excel spreadsheet, but let me just tell you, if I were to sell this, I would not take less than $100 a person for it because it's that powerful. It shows you everything you need to know. I'm going to give that to you. I'm also going to give you 2 one-on-one scheduled coaching calls with myself. I've been a coach and consultant for many years. And when I consult, I charge anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000 a day. So I know this is very much so worth it. This is less than I charge for a 1-hour consulting coaching call with a executive. So $497 value. And what I can do during these calls, I'm going to do 2 of them for up to 30 minutes, which I never do. I always do 1 hour. But the reason I want to do that is because I know the first call you're going to have questions, and you're going to think of more questions for the second call. And so I want to make sure that we do this in a way that really benefits you and make sure that you're set for success. Now, I can only do this for about 25 people. I just don't have time to do it for more than that. And so this, or at least I don't want to make the time. So this bonus is for the first 25 people only. So again, you're going to get those other items, the how to become a home entrepreneur, doubling, picking tricks and tips, best places, times, and methods for buying, where to sell items, tricks to maximize, shipping tips and tricks, 30 days of text and email support, 12 months future access to Doublers Club, my personal tracking spreadsheet, and 2 one-on-one scheduled coaching calls for 30 minutes apiece. Total value is $2,640. And by the way, all this is going to come over the next 30 days. We're going to have some live meetings that we're going to do, online meetings. We're going to record all those so you'll be able to go back and watch them. I'm going to be giving you lots of documents. All this is over the next 30 days. You'll have a members-only website that you can log into tonight. Doesn't have the content in it yet because we have to do all this together. But as we build the content together, we're going to put it in there. Now, if this is all, if all this ever did was help you generate $500 extra per month, would it be worth it? Of course. That's $6,000 a year. That's well worth the investment. If all this ever did was help you get 1 to 2 hours extra a week with your family, would it be worth it? I think everybody on this call would say you need more time with your loved ones. And I'm telling you, as somebody who feels no guilt when I take time away from them because I'm with them all the time, it's wonderful. We are together all the time, and it's wonderful. I have no regrets of my children's childhood. And what if all this ever did was help you pay for any trip you ever wanted to go on? What if you got to go to Disney on $1? Would you pay $2,000 for me to teach you how to go to Disney on $1? Of course you would. I mean, it would be crazy not to, because you'd save major money there. So you can see why it's a good deal at $1,997. Now, when I offer this to the general public, I'm going to offer it probably for $997. That's what I've been told I should price it at. There's lots of people that do this for a living. I've consulted a few of them. They're all telling me that's what it should be priced at. So that's probably what I'll do after this pilot program. But since you guys are on our pilot, our first official web meeting, I'm going to do a better deal. So here goes. Get started now for $197. I'm going to give you all of this for $197. I can only do it for 25 people because that's all I got time for. So I'm going to limit it to the first 25 people. The website is club.startdoubling.com. That means you're going to join the doubling club. So go to club.startdoubling.com and you can sign up and become one of my first 25. And of course, if you have any issues at all, you can email us and let us know. Now, you have two choices. You can do nothing and not take this leap of faith, which, by the way, 100% risk-free. I offer 100% money-back guarantee if you're not satisfied, no questions asked. Or second option, put up this small investment and get everything you're going to get in return. Just give it a shot. See if you guys can make it happen. If it works, great. If not, just ask for your money back and you'll get it. Got a 30-day. It's in writing for 30 days. Frankly, guys, if it goes past 30 days and you're unsatisfied, I definitely don't want you to not be satisfied. So I give your money back. Now, I made you a promise. I told you I was going to give you the 5 easiest items to double. And if you've stayed on this long, and I'm thankful that you have, you've earned it. So here we go. Now, guys, I'm telling you, you're going to crack up. It's kind of like when you buy a new car. If you've ever bought a new Jeep, for example, when you drive down the road, all you see is Jeeps, and everybody waves at each other. It's the Jeep wave. We've had Jeeps, and that's what happens. But when you buy a new car, let's say you are an Ohio State fan. I'm an Ohio State fan. So what do I see everywhere I go? I see Ohio State fans because that's something that my mind is conditioned to look for. So I'm about to condition your mind to look for 5 things, and you're going to see them, frankly, all over the place, and you're going to buy them, and then you're going to sell them, and then you're going to call me and say thank you. So here goes. Number 1, T84 graphing calculators. These are Texas Instruments. Now, guys, I'm telling you, they're everywhere because every college student has to have one. Most every high school student has to have one, and they're all looking for a few extra bucks. So they're everywhere. I buy them for $5 on command. Almost everywhere I go, you can get them at the Goodwill, every thrift store you go to, every yard sale just about. These things are everywhere. So definitely look for these. Courtney, I don't know what that means. That's pretty smart. Okay. So definitely look for these T84 graphing calculators. This Texas Instruments. Also, if you really want to get smart on something, by the way, calculators are interesting. You guys probably didn't know this, but there is an international calculator collecting club. Quite possibly the most interesting group of people ever. But they collect vintage calculators, and it's only certain ones that are valuable. I've found quite a few of them. I've got as much as $175 for a $2 calculator before. So they're everywhere, but I highly suggest you look for these. T1 or TI-84 graphing calculators. They come in black. They also come in pink. The pink's not worth as much. So next, we've got Beachbody DVD sets. Now, again, there's been so many of these that are sold. and almost none of them have ever been used. And so if you're one of those people that bought your P90X or your Insanity and you actually used it, good on you. But there's so many that haven't, okay? And so when you find these, typically they're brand new. They've never even had the cellophane taken off of them. Or if they have, you can open them up and tell the DVDs have never come off the little DVD post because it's hard to get it off. And so you buy these for $5 a set, maybe as high as $10. You'll sell them like hotcakes for $40 a piece. And so those are easy to sell. Next, sunglasses and reading glasses, Ray-Bans, Maui Jims, other designers. You don't want to go with the low-end designers, but you do want to go with the high-end designers. Do not buy Oakley's because they're almost all fake. But Ray-Bans and Maui Jims and Revos, if you find sunglasses, or Ray-Ban reading glasses, especially if they have the case with them. Now, I find these at yard sales all the time. I never pay more than $1 for them with the case. I sell them on command for $50. Those are the Ray-Ban reading glasses. The Maui Jims and different things, that's a Goodwill find. You go to a Goodwill, almost never any other thrift shops, but almost always the Goodwill. Depends on your town. By the way, if you didn't know this, Goodwills are independently owned and they're for profit. They're not nonprofits. And so they all are different. They're all priced different. They're all run differently. Some of them are eBay sellers. Some of them actually do what they say they do. And so if you've got a good Goodwill, which we happen to in Brentwood, Tennessee here, you can walk in and almost every time you can walk straight to the sunglasses section and get all the designer sunglasses for anywhere from $1 to $3 a pair. I don't know how many times I've walked in and bought a pair of Maui Jims for $3 and sold them for $70 that day on eBay. I've probably done that 20 times. You can do that over and over and over again. Super easy to find. They're everywhere. You just want to make sure that the lenses aren't that scratched up. That's the key, okay? And if they are, still buy them, still list them. You'll get half that money. It's still worth it. Just make sure you tell them that the lenses are scratched up. No big deal. Now, high-end outdoor brand jackets. This would be like your Arc'teryx or your Patagonia, your Mountain Hardwear. They're everywhere. They are everywhere. Do not buy North Face. North Face is garbage. Not garbage, but there's too many fakes out there, and they're just not worth as much. But if you can find an Arc'teryx or a Patagonia or a Mountain Hardwear or a level of outdoor brand jacket like that, those you can typically buy for $5, $10, and you'll sell them for as much as $100. Again, all the time, happens all the time. And you should definitely check that out. I find these fairly frequently. I usually pay about $10, and I usually make between 80 and 100. So again, these are the top 5 easiest items that we find. I'm sure there are other items out there, but these are the best ones in my opinion. Finally, stereo components. Guys, Yamaha, Pioneer, keep your eyes open for these. People have them all the time. CD players are not worth as much. Cassette tape decks, if they're a double cassette and if they work, they're typically pretty valuable. Receivers are valuable. DVD players are worthless, and CD players are pretty worthless. But receivers and tape decks are amazing. And I'll tell you a story. A couple years ago, we were at a sale. The lady's husband had passed away, and she was getting rid of all the stereo components. So I bought them. And there was one thing in there. It was a Yamaha Natural Sound. I can't remember the exact model number, but I paid $25 for it. And I actually was a little frustrated. I thought I paid too much. But I paid $25 for it. I looked it up. I thought it was worth – I was excited after I looked it up. I thought it was worth about $200. So I got it home, and I got to looking at it, and I had read the model number wrong. And I ended up with a $2,800 stereo component. I paid $25 for it. I sold it to a guy for $2,300 to fire sell it. I went back and tried to find the lady because I wanted to give her more money because I felt bad. Could not figure out where she lived. So, you don't have to do that. Don't feel guilted into that. That was just how I felt that time. But they're out there. We buy these stereo components on command for $10 to $20, sell them for $100 to $500 all the time. My son buys them every week and constantly is making money off of them. So to me, these are your top 5. These are the easiest things for you to find. Take a picture of this screen. I'm going to leave it up for a few more seconds here. Take a picture of this screen. Take it out. I want to hear what you've bought. These are super easy. There's thousands of other things, literally millions of other things, guys, that you can buy. These are all thrift store and yard sale finds, but there are so many other buying strategies and places. And if you become part of our club, I'm going to teach you about those. So again, you guys, just to go through it one more time, you're going to learn how to be a home entrepreneur. You're going to learn doubling and picking, tips and tricks, best times, places, and methods for buying, where to sell items, tricks to maximize, shipping tips and tricks, 30 days of text and email support for buying and selling. By the way, my phone just alerted me that we just sold something. It was something my son bought. It was a golf GPS rangefinder that he paid $3 for, and it sold for $39.99 plus shipping. So he'll make 40. He's over there jumping up and down. Woohoo! He'll make 40 bucks on that, about 35 after we pay fees. So his $3 just turned into $35. How much would you love it just to teach your kids that, guys? Just to teach them. Jack will never, ever not be able to make money. If he gets a need, he's always got a skill. So let me keep going here. 12 months future access to the Doublers Club community, my personal tracking spreadsheet, and 2 coaching calls for $2,640 or $2,640 value. Today, $197. Club.startdoubling.com. I have to limit it to the first 25 people. We are going to get started next week. And so if you guys would like to do this, we are going to start next Thursday. And so I haven't promoted this yet. I'm going to start promoting this tomorrow. I would love for you guys to beat everybody else. If you have PayPal, different ways we can do this. But if you go straight to that website, you can sign up right now. It just takes a credit card, pop you right on in. You get put into the system. You'll be able to go immediately download that spreadsheet that I talked about. And then I'm going to start adding things to it over the next couple of days and start scheduling some coaching calls and things like that. But you guys, we are going to start next Thursday, not this Thursday, next Thursday. Between now and then, if you guys get started, we might be able to have some chats and just talk about what's going to happen this weekend for you guys to go out and start buying and selling. You can get started right away, but please take a moment, go to club.startdoubling.com, get signed up, and I would love to have you guys be part of that. So